Alright, I wanted to start with problem 101 for homework. The problem of that cone. So the cone has a height of 10 inches and a radius of 4. If a plane cuts the cone X inches below the cone's piece, what is the area of the circular cross-section? So actually, this is kind of getting closer to calculus. We have this cone, and we know that, we know a couple things. Let me bring this down and label everything. Okay, so let's label our parts. We know that this distance here, the height is 10. We know that our radius of the cone is 4. And then we have this other circle. It's going to go somewhere in here. And we're going to have a radius here. Let me do that in red so we can see. A radius here. So you actually, if you see it, you have two triangles. You have this guy, and then you have the big one. So I'll pull this one out, and then the big one will pull out over here. Now, since they're part of the same cone, they're similar triangles, meaning they're not the same size, but they're the same shape. So we can write a proportion. Now, a little bit more. X inches below the cone's peak. So we need to label a couple more things. We'll label this in a different color. We know that this distance here is X, how far we've made the cut. And then we're going to compare it to this side, which is going to be our new radius for the circle. So we know that this is X and this is R. And then for our other triangle, or for the bigger triangle, we know it's 10 and 4. Now if this is true, we can create a proportion to represent... Made it! So we're setting up a proportion. That was Frank. So happy we're done. So the proportion here would be for the radius. And the reason we want the proportion for the radius is, in the end, our final goal is to find the area of that cross-section, and to find the area of that cross-section we need area equals pi r squared. So we need to find our radius, or this guy, for that. So we're going to solve everything in terms of r here, based on that x. So to do that, we're going to set up the proportion, which will be set up one of two ways, but we'll do x over r is equivalent to 10 over 4. We want to solve for r, so cross multiply. You get 10r equals 4x. Divide by 10, divide by 10. R is equal to 4x over 10. Or 2x over 5 is equal to r. This is what we're going to use. Once we know that, we can take that equation and bring it right into here. So now we have the area of the cross-section is pi times 2x over 5 squared. We square it, we get pi times 4x squared over 25, which would equal 4x squared pi over 25, which is complex, but it's your final area, because obviously it depends on where you cut it, so x would be your height. All right, hope that helps with 100, or 101. This is kind of what calculus is going to look more like.